In today's video, we're going to talk a little about a topic that is very popular here in Brazil, a rather controversial subject, which is the interference of USAID in Brazilian affairs. First, I'll show you what USAID is and what it does. Then we'll get into some very interesting details that concern our lives and our parents and grandparents. Stay with us. So this here, folks, it's USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. It was created in 1961 by President Kennedy, an executive order from the president. And what happens? It has operated in various countries, including Brazil, and it had a significant role in the Vietnam War. Theoretically, it would be used for disaster assistance, poverty alleviation, cooperation on global issues, including the environment, bilateral interests of the United States, and socioeconomic development. That's in theory. In practice, that's not what happened. Because here's what happens. Let's go. As everyone knows, in 1964, President João Goulart was overthrown by a military coup. USAID did not have a direct role in this coup, but it helped weaken João Goulart's support base, which included some unions that supported him and some center and left-wing organizations. USAID funded the counterpoints to these entities. So what happened in this whole story? We see that there was a significant media bombardment against João Goulart. Newspapers, TV had less influence at that time, right? Newspapers, radio, TV, and of course, money from USAID was coming in for these people. This was never very well clarified. I will show here, I'll leave in the description how you can request this data from USAID. You can ask USAID. There is an American law, the FOIA law, okay? I'll leave the form here in the description, which shows how you can effectively request USAID to provide these documents. In fact, there should be a list of Brazilians who received money from USAID. It's that story, folks. If a foreign entity is paying a Brazilian, it's to perform a service in favor of a foreign entity. If this service harms the country of the person receiving it, it's collateral damage. But fundamentally, they are serving foreign interests. So, for example, in the Ukraine war, USAID funded thousands of journalists worldwide, journalists, influencers, etc., to speak in favor of the war in Ukraine. This is now coming to light because President Trump wants to dismantle USAID, and they are revealing it. However, we suspect that USAID may also have been used to destabilize President Dilma Rousseff's government, because many people think these entities only benefit, like in the time of '64, right-wing entities or now left-wing entities. No, they don't do that. What they need is to weaken governments, because they need weak governments. So, if the government in power is a left-wing government, you strengthen the right. If the government in power is right-wing, you strengthen the left. That's why I say, it's not enough to just look at who received money from USAID in the last 3 years. We need to look at who received it over these 64 years. This is the reality. So the investigation needs to be conducted in this direction. I'll show you here how you can make a request to USAID. It's interesting. Here it is. You request to use, here's the link, I'll leave it in the description. Explain what you want. There are other links I'll also include here, which provide you with information. Explain what you want. They take some time, but they will respond to you. They do respond. It's the American law that supports this, that obliges these entities. Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, Freedom of Information Law.
Freedom of Information, Lei da Liberdade de Informação.
Of course, some data may come up. It often happens that data comes in bold, but even so, you will have reasonable information about USAID's influence in Brazil. It's what I always say. And to think that this fight we are fighting is a left and right fight. It is not. It's a fight against Brazil. That's the truth. So sometimes the left is used, sometimes the right. But it doesn't matter. These people, what they want is to effectively harm Brazil. There is a lot of buzz on social media to find out who received money from USAID in recent years.
Nos últimos anos, tá? Eu tenho meus palpites aí, acho que muitos
I have my guesses. I think many large organizations received money. Many important people received money. I don't know if everyone's name will come up, but I know there are people who are desperate. But you who have come this far, you know that Arte de Guerra is a small channel. We don't receive money from USAID. If we did, it would be welcome. We wouldn't do what they say, but we would be able to help a lot with charity for many people. But I know that USAID won't collaborate with our line of work here, which is a line for Brazil. So folks, if you want to help the Arte de Guerra channel, there's a super sticker, a super chat.
quiser ajudar o canal Arte da Guerra, tem um super sticker, um super chat. Dá o like, que é de graça.
Give it a like. It's free. USAID doesn't give us likes. You can contribute via Pix, which is in the description, buy books from our Amazon store, purchase our courses here on the Arte de Guerra channel. It's a course where we criticize USAID. I'll leave you here with the trailer for the next course, which is the strong men of the Middle East, who were greatly hindered by USAID. The Middle East is a place where USAID is very active, destabilizing the government. We'll be back shortly, always with responsibility and commitment. Even in Brazil, folks. See you later.
Fé no Brasil, pessoal. Até mais. Bom, pessoal, e na lista de desejos da Amazon...
Well, folks, on the Amazon wish list, which can be found here in the description of the Arte de Guerra channel, you will find several books on hybrid wars and color revolutions. It's extremely important to understand this subject because they will impact our lives for many years and perhaps decades. Countries are often victims of color and hybrid revolutions or other aspects of hybrid wars without even knowing it. So, being aware of these threats is important for prevention and maybe even to avoid them. And every time you buy books and other items on Amazon, you are supporting the Arte de Guerra channel. Amazon accepts credit cards, bank slips, etc.
Arte da Guerra, Amazon aceita cartão, boleto, etc.
Subtitle by Sonia Ruberti.